This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into a Thursday episode of the YSN Live podcast. I'm Anthony Hartwig, riding solo today, so buckle up. It's going to get a little dangerous. Me, myself, and I, you're stuck with my thoughts on the MLB opening day. By the way, all you Guardians fans out there, I'm sorry. Go Royals. It's our time, right? Our time to win the Central. We're coming for you. I know everyone's excited for MLB opening day. Baseball opening day in the high school realm is tomorrow, and we have a great show for you today because we are going to play two great baseball interviews from coaches and season previews to get you out there. We got Bryce Franken from the Columbiana baseball squad going into his second year as the head coach over there in the Clipper country, and we also have Cam Carson, the head coach of the Lakeview Bulldogs. He's going to be talking to us about how Lakeview can get themselves back on top of the NE8 after last year falling a little bit short of that trophy. So they're going to talk about what they can do with a pretty experienced team in Cortland to get back there. First, let's talk about last night. I know we didn't have a lot of scores. A lot of things were canceled, but we did have some sports being played last night, and I look like okay. I guess I'm not frozen. I looked at the screen and it looked like I was frozen. Poland girls lacrosse got a game in on the turf at Poland. 14-7, the Bulldogs got the win over the Southeast Pirates. East Liverpool did play Edison. They fell to the Wildcats 14-0 in softball, and Beaver Local softball did go on the road and play against Oak Glen. They fell 11-1 to Oak Glen. So those were the two scores that we did get from last night. Everything else was postponed in the area, but not to worry. We did have some other scores from outside the area. We have teams that are traveling. And first and foremost, we have Ursuline opening up their time on spring break. They went up against Macon County, and they fell 9-6 in a very offensive battle. Perry continued their time on spring break as they fell to Antigua, which is a Wisconsin school, 8-4. The final score there. Perry and Ursuline are both in action right now. You can go to our good friends over at Game Changer that help us out a lot with keeping these teams covered. Follow their games on Game Changer while they're in spring break down at the beach. So make sure to follow Ursuline and Perry. We have Howland starting up their spring break tomorrow on the softball diamond. So we have several teams that are still out of town getting some games in. Howland opening up their season tomorrow. I believe they're in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I could be wrong, though. I believe they're in Pigeon Forge. Perry's in Florida, I think Cocoa Beach. And I think Ursuline's in Myrtle Beach. But if I'm wrong there, I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me. Tomorrow's opening day for baseball as well. And we have plenty of softball on the network tonight. I want to get to that before we go into these interviews. Tonight on the network, we're going to have softball back, and the weather looks great, guys. The weather looks awesome. Storm Tracker 21 keeping us warm. The official forecast for first pitch is going to be partly sunny with a 57-degree mark, which I know isn't like the best. I want 70 or above. I am a warm body for sure, but I will take 57 over anything in the 40s or, God forbid, high 30s any day of the week for sure. So make sure you get out there to softball tonight. But if you can't, we got you covered with a couple of games on the network. Ty Bartell will be out for his first game in Hoban as they take on Akron Ellet. That's the City Series matchup. Big rivalry. Anytime Hoban plays anyone in that Akron area, they're going to be fired up for that game. I feel like I'm frozen again. Oh, StreamYard's iced. That's frozen. It's frozen in that too. What do you think people are looking at right now? I think I just have to reload it. Anthony Hartwig here with another baseball season preview in Coach's Corner. We're in Lakeview down in Cortland today with the head coach of the baseball team down there, Cam Carson. Coach, thank you so much for coming on talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's the state of your program right now? Some of the preseason vibes you've been getting and some of the expectations that because of those you're setting for this season.
Obviously, we have some super high expectations, just like every year coming in. We want to get the most out of the group that we have, and our guys have done a really nice job so far in the month of practice that we've had in our off-season program, just getting this program back up to a point where we want it to be at, and just expecting high-level baseball at all times. So one of our goals is obviously trying to take back the conference. That's goal number one. And then making a run of district is goal number two. So hoping to get our program to that point.
Let's meet the group that's going to try to accomplish all those goals. Talk about the roster and the players that are going to be making big impacts, the names we need to know before the season starts.
Yeah, we have two seniors this year, so small senior class, but Jason DeMonica and Carter Duran. Jason will be a 4-year letter winner. Carter will be a 3-year letter winner. So those guys have been around this program. They know what the expectations are. They know how to carry themselves. So those two guys are going to set the tone for us. We have a junior class that's very talented. We got 7 of those guys. Nathan Palucci, Brandon Toot. Those guys have been 3-year starters for us. Brandon Cash, Isaiah Lance. Those guys got a lot of time for us last year. Hayden Newton as well was a key guy for us last year. He's been dealing with an injury since football season, so we're hoping to get him back. And then we got Jacob Shaker as well coming back on the mound for us. He was a big part of our rotation last year. So Matthew Leonard's another junior, hoping to get in the rotation this year and contribute there as well. And then Eli Goff, Joe Kaczynski, and Nick Aho are 3 sophomores that we're hoping contribute for us as well.
Coach, with only 2 seniors, you're leaning on them a lot for leadership and kind of leaning on their experience. Like you said, 1 3-time letter winner, 1 4-time letter winner. So there's a lot of experience with those 2 seniors. Talk about what you've seen already in the preseason that makes you comfortable with their leadership and knowing that you're in good hands, even if it's a low number of seniors on the team.
Yeah.
All right, so I apologize for all those technical glitches. Everything froze on my end. Where am I? Am I still on? Holy smokes, it's frozen again. Everything froze on my end, so I apologize for all that mess. Wow, we are back. We are live. Welcome to live streaming, dealing with some glitch gremlins. We're back, though, and we're going to sort of start those interviews from the top. Cam Carson is going to be starting us off, and then we'll have Bryce Franken from Columbiana. Wow. Welcome to Anthony should never do shows by himself. I swear I hosted a show by myself for like 3 years. I'm not a noob, but that was a mess, right? So everything froze. We'll get back to it. We're gonna start Cam Carson from the top because I think his interview kind of froze as well. So we're gonna give him his due. Cam Carson from Lakeview, baseball season preview, Coach's Corner. Let's try this again, shall we? We're here with another baseball season preview in Coach's Corner. We're in Lakeview, down in Cortland today, with the head coach of the baseball team down there, Cam Carson. Coach, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's the state of your program right now? Some of the preseason vibes you've been getting, and some of the expectations that because of those you're setting for this season. I'm totally free.
Yeah. Obviously, we have some super.
Oh my gosh. Nothing's like my. I guess the only thing I can do is reset. I mean, my StreamYard keeps completely freezing. I don't know what to do. Okay, I resorted to restarting the whole computer. We are live. We are still live. Wow. Gritch Limlin's hitting me hard today. I apologize again. We are going to get that Cam Carson interview up now, and I think it'll work this time. Fingers and toes both crossed. Let's see here. Anthony Hartwig here with another baseball season preview in Coach's Corner. We're in Lakeview, down in Cortland today, with the head coach of the baseball team down there, Cam Carson. Coach, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's the state of your program right now? Some of the preseason vibes you've been getting, and some of the expectations that because of those you're setting for this season.
Yeah. Obviously, we have some super high expectations, just like every year coming in. We want to get the most out of the group that we have, and our guys have done a really nice job so far in the month of practice that we've had in our off-season program, just getting this program back up to a point where we want it to be at, and just expecting high-level baseball at all times. So one of our goals is obviously trying to take back the conference. That's goal number one. And then making a run of district is goal number two. So hoping to get our program to that point.
Let's meet the group that's going to try to accomplish all those goals. Talk about the roster and the players that are going to be making big impacts, the names we need to know before the season starts.
Yeah, we have two seniors this year, so small senior class, but Jason DeMonica and Carter Duran. Jason will be a 4-year letter winner. Carter will be a 3-year letter winner. So those guys have been around this program. They know what the expectations are. They know how to carry themselves. So those two guys are going to set the tone for us. We have a junior class that's very talented. We got 7 of those guys. Nathan Palucci, Brandon Toot. Those guys have been 3-year starters for us. Brandon Cash, Isaiah Lance. Those guys got a lot of time for us last year. Hayden Newton as well was a key guy for us last year. He's been dealing with an injury since football season, so we're hoping to get him back. And then we got Jacob Shaker as well coming back on the mound for us. He was a big part of our rotation last year. So Matthew Leonard's another junior, hoping to get in the rotation this year and contribute there as well. And then Eli Goff, Joe Kaczynski, and Nick Aho are 3 sophomores that we're hoping contribute for us as well.
Coach, with only 2 seniors, you're leaning on them a lot for leadership and kind of leaning on their experience. Like you said, 1 3-time letter winner, 1 4-time letter winner. So there's a lot of experience with those 2 seniors. Talk about what you've seen already in the preseason that makes you comfortable with their leadership and knowing that you're in good hands, even if it's a low number of seniors on the team.
Yeah, I mean, both of them kind of have a similar leadership style. They're both kind of lighthearted, fun guys. They like to just play the game relaxed and just keep things light for the guys. They like to joke around with people and just have good energy. And really, that's been a huge point of emphasis for our team this year, is having a ton of energy. And those guys do a nice job with that. Nothing gets too serious for them. They lead by example type guys. So those 2 have done a really good job for their leadership.
And then talk about some of the guys that are, future leaders of this program. I would say, the juniors and the sophomores that you mentioned, and how much they're trying to take in what the seniors are setting and the tone they're setting.
Yeah, so like I said, a lot of these juniors, they have a ton of playing experience and have gotten a ton of playing time as young guys. Even the guys that didn't start their freshman year, there were still a lot of guys that got significant playing time or were in really big spots. I just think back to our regional game. We had, I think, two freshmen start in that game, and then 2 freshmen come in to either pinch hit or pinch run in that game as freshmen. So they were in really big moments early on. So they kind of have set the tone in our early on in practice and in the off season. These guys really want to win, and they think that they can elevate this program to where we want it to be. So we're really excited to see what they can do.
All right, Coach, let's talk about the schedule. You already said your goal 1, let's win the NE8. Let's take that back. It's a tough conference. It's a brutal conference to navigate. Not only Poland and South Range, but you got Hubbard in there that has the arms and the experience, and Gerard's making strides, and Niles is making strides. Talk about what it's going to take this year to kind of take this conference and what it's going to take to get yourselves back on top of it.
Yeah, we're going to have to do the little stuff right. That's always the challenge is making those routine plays, getting hits when you need them. So like you said, the NE8 is going to be tough this year. I think top to bottom, this is probably the best the NE8's been, maybe, honestly, since we've had the NE8. Obviously, like you said, South Range, Poland, those guys are always at the top. Hubbard, very, very competitive team. Gerard, another one who's going to be really, really good this year. So we have to take care of business on Monday and Tuesday. And like I said, make the plays that we need to make, balls hit right at us, getting timely hits, executing small ball situations, being able to move guys over, get ourselves in a position to score runs. And then we're going to have to pitch well. Pitching's the name of the game. We got to stay in the zone. We got to have good command of all our pitches, and just dictate kind of the game from the mound. And I think that's something we've done really well. We're pretty confident in our rotation right now, and what they're going to give us. We know they're going to go out, give us 5-6 innings of good baseball, and then trust our bullpen to finish the game for us.
When you venture outside of the NE8 and you test yourselves, in the non-conference waters, who are some teams that really, you're excited to kind of test yourself against, and that's going to prepare you for that tournament time?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in playing a schedule that's going to prepare you for the postseason. I want to challenge our guys during the regular season. So we start right off with Ursuline on Saturday, scene 1. That'll be an awesome opening day game. Looks like it's going to be 70 degrees Saturday. So Ursuline's a big one. We got the defending state champs, West Branch, on the schedule. That's always a good competitive game for us. We have Fitch and Mooney this year as well on the schedule. So again, I'm a big believer in playing up in the regular season and preparing yourself. So we know we're going to get tough games on Monday, Tuesday, and it's nice to kind of balance that out later in the week as well and continue to challenge ourselves.
As we talk about, the tournament, usually we wouldn't bring up tournament time so early in a season preview, but because of the expansion and because we're seeing more divisions, what do you think that'll do for Lakeview and the doors that might open for you guys to make maybe a little bit of a deeper run now that the divisions are at least on a level playing field on school size. I know there's still going to be hard teams in every division. It's not like it's going to get super easy all of a sudden, but you're not going to have to play teams that are twice as big as you anymore.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how much it does for us, or how different it makes it for us. Like you said, it's always going to be a challenge once you get into playoff time, and everyone's hungry. Everyone is striving for the same goal. So it's going to be tough, obviously, like it is every single year. So I'm not sure if the new field does anything like beneficial for us, but I don't think it hurts us either. So we're just going to hopefully be playing our best ball by that point, and whoever we have to play, just hopefully we can find ways to beat them and make a run at district.
Did you have any kind of first thoughts when that news came out that they were going to expand the divisions in baseball and every other sport not named football to more divisions? Did you kind of like it? Did you kind of think that it was unneeded? What were kind of your first thoughts?
I don't know if I had a strong feeling either way, because I wasn't really sure what it was going to look like, and I wasn't sure kind of what teams were going to come down to Division 5 with us. I didn't know what teams are going to be moving up. For the most part, the core group, those teams that are always contending at the top, who are contending at the top of Division 3, seem to be in Division 5 now with us. So I wouldn't say I was excited or like disappointed. It kind of just was curious about how it was going to look and see if it was going to make a difference. So I guess we won't know till we get to the playoffs and kind of see how things shake out. But yeah, no strong reaction right off the bat.
We transitioned into talking about the culture that you want to set to kind of build in that championship mindset and make those long runs in the tournament. You've been with Lakeview as the baseball coach for long enough now to have your culture established and strong and kind of stable. What kind of culture do you see in Lakeview baseball, and how much of it is exactly where you want it culture-wise?
Yeah, I think this year, obviously we haven't played any games yet, but this has been the best February and March that we've had, maybe since I've been here. Our number one point of emphasis, we had two big things. We had attention to detail, and we had good energy. And the energy has been awesome. It makes such a difference in high school baseball when your dugouts into the game and when like every guy that's in the lineup has a good energy. It makes a huge difference, because when we're out playing in 45-degree weather, it can be tough to stay involved in games, and especially like just the pace of play. When the pace of play isn't good, I don't think teams perform very well. So like I said, attention to detail, good energy. It's been good. Our culture, we've just been trying to build, like, do the little stuff right. Like we say, like, leave things better than the way you found it. That's something that I feel like we're able to do in this group of guys that we have on the team this year. They've done a good job with that. Is like they try to improve every day. They want to get better at something, and they want to make an impact on the people around them. So I think culturally, we're in a really good spot right now. We're doing some of the things that we want to do. Guys are being on our team are modeling like what Lakeview baseball means to the community, and the younger guys, like we'll have our kids camp coming up here in a couple of weeks. And like those guys love like being involved with the youth program, giving back to the community, stuff like that. So when we're in terms of building culture, that's what we want. And I want guys who are going to like run through a wall when they step out on the field, and they'll do whatever it takes to win baseball games. And I feel like the group that we have this year is willing to do that.
Coach, you brought up the weather a little bit in that answer, and how much it can affect a game. Weather is going to make it hard this year. I mean, you have about a month and a half to fit in 27 games with the weather in Northeast Ohio. How do you navigate kind of trying to keep everyone, locked in on maybe, there's probably going to be a week where you miss 2 or 3 games and you have to play, 4 or 5 games in 4 or 5 days. How do you kind of navigate the waters that is spring sports and trying to keep everyone locked in on those days where you might miss 2 or 3 days in a row?
Yeah, I think a big thing is just finding opportunities for competition on a daily basis. So just incorporating some sort of competition in practice. We've done a ton of live at-bats throughout practice so far in the last month or so. So that always gets the juices flowing a little bit. And whether we're working out, like we've done some circuits, some workout circuits. So maybe just compete, like who can get the most reps, or who can get things done quickly. So it's just like finding ways to compete in practice is a huge part of that, I think.
What's your favorite in-practice competition to put the boys into?
That's a tough one. Honestly, we kind of just like make stuff up on the fly, like on like a daily basis. Like we don't have any like real go-tos, but just depending on like the week or the situation or like who's going to throw that day, we like to just kind of make stuff up and find some way to make it fun.
Coach, we wouldn't be having this interview without the staff and the people behind you. So I want to make sure that they get their time to have a light shined on them. I know there's a lot of people that go beyond just the coaches that help this baseball program, be what it is. I want you to take the time to not only thank your staff, but the people that are behind you guys all year and the people that make this Lakeview baseball program exactly what it is.
Yeah, I have a great staff with me. Dylan Keller, he's been with me since day one. When I got here, he's our pitching coach, our varsity infield coach. So he's at everything. The guys on the team love him. He's been such a huge part of our success over the last couple of years. So he's number one. Blaine Barr and Tyler Capan are our two assistant and / JV coaches. They both played for me in my early years here, my first couple of years here. So it's nice when you get guys to come back to the program that want to coach and contribute to what you're doing. That's huge. Ty Capan just came on this year. So this is his first year on with us. Blaine's been with us the last couple of years. He's done a really nice job kind of developing these younger guys and teaching them like the ways of Lakeview baseball so they're prepared when they get up to the varsity level. I have Kyle Payton he went from assistant coach to volunteer this year. He got a new job, but he's still around and helping us out, which has been nice. And Dean Shanauer, teacher here at Lakeview, he's been on staff with us. He's volunteered the last couple of years. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that help us out. And then obviously like our administration from the top down, they really support us and give us the things that we need to do. And they get behind us and whatever we need, they're there for us. So I got to thank those guys too.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and preview this Lakeview baseball season. We're excited for it. We're chomping at the bit for baseball, and we'll be out there supporting you guys and covering you guys all year. So if you ever need anything, let us know, of course. We can't wait to talk again real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And there he goes, Cam Carson, the head coach of the Lakeview Bulldogs, joining us. Thank you so much for your time, Coach. Lakeview is going to be a team to be reckoned with this season. I promise you that. When they start their season on Saturday against Ursuline at Scene Park, I think you're going to learn really quick what this baseball team is made of. I think they have a lot to work with, and Coach told us that this has been the best preseason they've had since he's been the head coach, and that's saying something because they've had some pretty successful seasons with Cam Carson as the head coach. So for him to say this team has had the best preseason that he's ever seen as their head coach, and that should scare a little bit the coaches in the NE8. It should shake their boots a little bit. Not that the NE8 coaches out there and teams don't have the players to maybe not be scared, but it's going to be an interesting conference this year. Lakeview's coming back for a little bit of revenge. They felt like last year was a run back season, that they felt like they had the pieces to maybe go back to back in the NE8. Didn't work out that way. Coming back this year with guys like Carter Duran, who played in our YSN basketball all-star game, leading the helm, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Lakeview baseball and softball both peaking upwards. Lakeview softball tied the NE8 last year. They return. I feel like they only lost maybe one senior last year. They didn't lose hardly anybody last year. They were returning almost their whole roster, trying to win the NE8 outright this year. Now the baseball team trying to kind of clap back a little bit and get back in that NE8 picture in the top of the tier. It's going to be a tough one. That NE8 in baseball and softball, both very competitive, and they're both going to be up for a big task. So we thank Cam Carson for his time. If you're just joining us, this has been a perfect episode. Nothing has ever happened. If you've joined us for the whole time, God bless you. Thank you for getting through those technical difficulties that we had for the first several minutes of the show. We have it fixed. We just went through that whole interview without any problems, which means that interview and that portion of the show that was all perfect, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. We thank them for going the extra mile for you. We try to follow their lead every single day by going the extra mile for you guys, our fans, our community, our athletes. That's how YSN tips the hat to Greenwood by following their lead. It is truck month. It is Chevy truck month, and Chevy has a lot of really good trucks out there. If you are in the need for a truck, if you're a truck guy or a gal, whether it be for everyday adventures or maybe the heavy duty job sites, you need that built for that built truck, toughness to kind of get you through those heavy duty job sites. Make sure to go down to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They will take care of you. They have plenty of trucks on their lot. Talk to a sales rep today and get yourself into a Chevy truck at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet. We have another interview to get to today. It's another baseball coaches corner and season preview. We go from Cortland and we go all the way down to Columbiana County, and we're going to come into Bryce Franken, the head coach of the Columbiana Clippers, and talk to him about what he sees out of his program this year. So here's Bryce Franken in Clipper country in the baseball program. Anthony Hartwig with you, and you better buckle up. You better check your your buckles, because we're taking off with the Clippers today in a baseball season preview. We got the head coach of the Columbiana baseball team, Bryce Franken, joining us today. Coach, thanks for coming on, talking to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So as we talk about this year, we can't do it without just a quick recap of things you saw last year out of this team and things that you think these players can kind of take away and bring back from last year.
Well, one of the big things is, we are heading into a year where we're going to see we have a lot of turnover from last year. We actually graduated 7 seniors, and 5 of those guys were everyday guys, and then all 5 of those guys were everyday guys, and then we had 2 guys that probably started 75% of those games. So there's a lot of turnover coming into this year. I've never lost a game in the EOAC, and that with that group. And as we go into this year, even though we've got a lot of turnover, I'm still looking to continue that trend. Again, we've got some guys with some experience in those league games coming back. Max Conway, Reese Roush, and then Avery Young, who's a sophomore. Those guys are coming back. Hunter Devanzo. We really have 4 returning starters that saw, those were everyday guys last year. So a lot of experience there. And then we're going to be expecting some young guys to step up this year for us.
When you have so much turnover, like you said, how important are these next couple of weeks of scrimmages and preseason practices to try to bring those inexperienced guys along as much as possible before game 1?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're hoping we've got some weather coming in tomorrow. We're supposed to have our 3rd scrimmage tomorrow. It's really about at this point narrowing down to our best 9, and, freshman to senior, whoever that is, our best 9, that's who we got to figure out. We're narrowing that down, and that we're in that process. We're starting to get a really good idea. But yeah, again, looking at these next 2 scrimmages that we have, it's going to give us, our final 9. And again, that it's fluid throughout the year. It can change, but our best 9 going into the season is really going to be determined in these next 2 scrimmages for sure.
I know a lot of coaches will look at the teams that are returning a lot of players and think, man, they have it set. They don't have to really navigate, trying to find their spots. They already have their spots locked down. But in your perspective, trying to see these kids evaluate, see these kids really compete for spots, I'm sure as a coach that also has to make you kind of giddy, because you're seeing the competitiveness of your team come out every day because every spot seems to be on the line.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a different feel this year. Like you just said, the last 2 years we had a group of guys that for 2 years, really, 5 of them started basically every day, and then the other 2 were 75 to 80% of the time. So where a lot of turnover, a lot of new faces going to be in the starting lineup, and it's exciting to see those guys competing for spots, and seeing the young guys really start to step up, and the older guys taking leadership roles. I do feel like, in a way, having the competition is obviously very healthy, and it kind of brings the guys together a little bit more. As they're fighting for spots but they're fighting together, not fighting against each other necessarily, just fighting together for one of those 9 spots.
Let's meet the team. I know you already said a couple of names that are going to be big in the program, but what about the whole roster as a whole, and who are some of the names that we're going to hear from a lot in Columbiana this year?
So this year going in, we have our returners, Max Conway, Reese Roush, Hunter Devanzo, and Avery Young. And then we're going to have some other seniors that are going to be, stepping up in some big roles for us this year, both in the field, on the mound, and at the plate. Blake Unger is a senior. He got a little bit of experience last year, really down in Myrtle Beach last year. He got a little bit of experience there. And then Dan Gehring is a guy we're going to rely on the mound. Our pitching situation right now is interesting. Our number one, Reese Roush, our senior, scheduled to be our ace going into the season. He's got an injury right now that's put him behind the 8 ball. He's really looking at 4 weeks right now of not being able to pitch. So, we're going to have some guys step up on the hill. Avery Young is going to take over as the number 1 right now, sophomore. And we're very confident in him in taking that role. But after that, we're going to be relying on a lot of guys to step up on the hill. We're bringing back Hunter Devanzo, our catcher. He'll be back this year. He'll be our number 1 catcher. And then coming in, we've got Rocco Mediate, who is another sophomore. We're going to be really starting a lot of sophomores, and depending on how things play out, it could be a very young guy dominated lineup. But again, it's right now, the way we see it, we're giving our older guys as many opportunities as possible to earn one of those. Like I said, we're trying to figure out our best 9, and the guys that step up and take those roles. We got Rocco Mediate, again, a sophomore. Drennan Basella is another guy, another sophomore that's going to help us on the hill. And then Nick Clinworth is another sophomore that's going to help us on the hill and in the field. And Rocco throws a little bit too. So, again, and then that sophomore group, the nice thing about it, all 4 of those guys that I just listed are pitchers. And then we've got some freshman pitchers that we do anticipate somewhere along the line are going to have to help us out, because, like I said, losing our number 1, Reese, is going to be tough, but we'll have to navigate and figure that out. And, it is what it is. Like the way I tell the guys every day, you got to, but the saying is adapt or die. We got to figure it out.
And you will navigate a tough schedule, and it starts inside the EOAC, a very competitive baseball conference. Talk about what you see out of it this year and what things Columbiana can do to try to be contenders inside the EOAC.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we are, coming off 2 great seasons in the league. And we know that this year there's some dogs in this league, and, not to word play, I guess. But the Bulldogs they're coming after us in that first series. And Coach Walker, great coach over at East Palestine. We did have to change some things up a little bit. We are also in the OVAC now. So we're in the EOAC and we're in the OVAC. So we had to switch some things up in order to be able to qualify for the OVAC tournament. We had to move some things around. So we do start with Wellsville on next Friday, the 28th. And then we have that, that first series against East Palestine. And we know that they're going to come out tough against us after we had one really good battle, extra inning battle last year with East Palestine with Kale Moraski on the hill. He's a great pitcher over there for them. And we know, Lisbon's going to definitely be, they've got a Carpenter. It seems like they always got a Carpenter. And, Brady's a good pitcher over there. And we know that they're going to come after us. And we know United's always the big one. We actually finished with them this year. But we're never taking any of those games. We're not taking any games for granted this year. We are going into every single EOAC game and beyond with the mentality of we are starting at the bottom because, again, great past 2 seasons, but it's a whole new year. Like I said, a lot of these guys have some experience, but, there is a lot of turnover too. So we're starting from the bottom, working our way up, and we hope we start with a 1-0 on Friday the 28th.
With the OVAC coming into the picture, there's a lot of teams in that mix that maybe you're pretty unfamiliar with that you haven't played a lot in the past. What does that do do you like that, or do you like the familiarity of the league and the area teams, or do you like playing teams that don't know a lot about you and you don't know a lot about them, and it's kind of like, let's just go play baseball best on best?
Well, the way I see it is, it's like you said, baseball is baseball. And really anything can happen in a baseball game. It's not like football where if one team's just bigger, faster, and stronger, they're going to dominate. Baseball, anything can happen. So I don't take too much stock into who we're playing as much as we have to go out and perform ourselves. At the end of the day, if you do the little things right, you're giving yourself a chance, putting the ball in play, no matter who you're playing. So I like to schedule outside, especially out of conference. I like to schedule a tougher schedule. We got Canfield on the schedule this year with Coach Weimer over there now, and Poland as well. But in the OVAC, that's what you're asking about, the OVAC. Heartland is in the OVAC, so we got them on the schedule again. So I'll get to face my dad in a game again this year. Right now I'm 3-2 against him, so I'm hoping to keep on the winning side of that. And then, we're playing Beaver Local twice. We're a little familiar with them. We've gotten to know them over the last couple of years, but so we have some familiarity with some of the teams that we're going to be playing, especially because all of the EOAC teams are actually part of the OVAC now as well. So again, there's going to be a lot of familiarity in that regard, but definitely something different. And I'm happy we have that opportunity to compete in both of those leagues for sure.
Well, you're going to be very, very familiar when you play Heartland Christian with your dad on the other end of the field. I mean, like you said, you're 3-2, and you took that jab a little bit. Like you're looking to how much bragging rights are on the line when that game comes up.
Well, we actually scrimmaged on Friday already, so we got a little bit of a taste of it Friday. But it's always going into those games. It's always fun. There's a different feel to it. It's like, having that opportunity. It's not something that everybody gets to do. Coaching against my dad, it's a pretty cool experience. So, I look forward to that one every year. Actually, to start out our schedule with the way we had to set it up because of the new OVAC thing, they weren't on there to start, but I'm glad we were able to work things out and work them in on April 15th. I have that date marked down, Tuesday, April 15th.
Don't let your dad dodge you. We're playing this year. You're not gonna. Coach, we want to end this coach's corner with a look inside your staff and the administration that helps you. We know that you get the interviews, you get the limelight, but you're not doing it by yourself. So I want you to talk about just everyone that's involved in this program that helps it succeed.
Absolutely. It starts with my assistant coach has been with me for all 3 years now, and that's Austin Severco. We do have a new pitching coach this year, Coach Schluter, Coach Hank Schluter. He retired, and we now have a new pitching coach, Richie Bardall. Richie graduated from Liberty in 2016. He is a catcher by trade, but he plays in a AA ball over the summer. He's still a catcher for them too. So he knows pitchers. The catchers know the pitchers just as well as the pitchers know themselves. So it's always good to have a guy that has experience working with pitchers in game, be that guy that, is taking care of our arms for sure. And then Drew Wilson is our head JV coach. He's heading into his second season with the JV team. Coach Fantone, Jim Fantone, he's helping us. He's been with me for all 3 years so far as a volunteer. But I say I don't want to lose that guy because he volunteers his time, and I just love having him around. And Vince Guerrieri is a new coach this year. He's helping volunteer. PA guy. He went to Latrobe High School. Also played at Westminster. So he's bringing in that college little bit of experience, especially with our outfielders. He was an outfielder by trade. So we love the staff that we have. We all get along, and we work well with the kids. So losing Coach Sluter was definitely tough for us. He also happens to be my brother-in-law, so that's it's a close relationship there. But he had a kid this past year, and I thank him for his time, and he did a great job for us. But we're moving on, and we hope that Coach Bardall, and so far he's handled that role really well. So, and we thank our Miss Heasley, Erin Heasley, our athletic director. She does a great job helping me out. We've had the opportunity to get some new equipment this year that we are hoping helps push us forward. And Dr. Mook at the head superintendent, he oversees everything and gives me the opportunity. I'm thanking him for the opportunity to be able to work with these kids, and Mr. Jackson, principal as well. So across the board, everybody gets along. It's a great place to be over here, and they call it the place to be, Columbiana High School. So we hope that continues onto the baseball field this season. We hope to continue the success that we've had in the league these past couple of years. We know that there's a lot of turnover, but I've told the guys my expectations are the same. I go into every season, we're playing against ourselves. The wins and losses will come. And I do want to mention that this year, I feel like there's a little more, there's a closeness. I've tried to incorporate a little more faith-based stuff into, I run the FCA over here at the high school. So, and I know that YSN is very connected to FCA. So I'm trying to incorporate both of those things together. And I feel like it's given a little more of our guys, like I said, freshman to senior, there's some camaraderie all together that I like to see. And I like to think that the faith-based aspect that we've incorporated this year is kind of helping that move forward. So I just wanted to mention that.
Coach, we are so excited about the season. We know you are too. You're chomping at the bit for next Friday, a little bit over a week. We thank you for your time to take it and talk to us about your program. We look forward to covering you guys all season, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you having me on.
That was Bryce Franken, the head coach of the Columbiana Clippers, joining me a little bit earlier on last week. Last week to talk about the Columbiana baseball season and everything that'll be in store for them. Don't think I'm going to avoid having a cough. Hold on. Okay. So we thank him for his time. Columbiana baseball, man, it's in for a really good season. And I commend him and his coaching staff for having to, he talked about it, trying to kind of revamp their schedule a little bit. The OVAC, getting into the OVAC was a big opportunity for Columbiana, but it also kind of put them behind the eight ball because there's a cutoff date where they have to have their, a certain amount of OVAC games in to qualify for the OVAC tournament, right? So the OVAC includes teams from West Virginia who have already started playing baseball. They've been playing for a week. By the time Columbiana gets on the field tomorrow, the West Virginia teams will have 2 weeks of baseball in. So they have to kind of play catch up a little bit, be put behind the eight ball, and make sure these OVAC games are in by that cutoff date. So that's why if you have a schedule that is kind of an old schedule, you might want to update it for Columbiana because they've had to move some things around. You talk about the Heartland Christian game, for example, moved around much earlier in the season than it was intended to be. He'll be playing his dad, Mark Franken. We love him too. That'll be a fun one when they get on the field together. Bragging rights on the line, conversations about Thanksgiving on the Thanksgiving table on the line. All that's fun stuff. But we thank Bryce Franken for his time and talking to us about the Columbiana baseball program that promises to have another great season inside the EOAC and now OVAC as well. That section of the show, that interview, was brought to you by our good friends and our proud sponsor of this show, Toyota of Warren. Make sure to check out Toyota of Warren. If you ever see DJ in his Toyota, the YSN Toyota Tundra, make sure to check him out. It's a big billboard for YSN. You really can't miss it. Also, the 2025 Toyota Tacoma looks really good. TRD Sport. It's got four-wheel drive. It's got everything you want. Make sure to check that out today because it has been the best-selling midsize truck for the last 20 years for a reason. So you got to go to Toyota of Warren. You got to check out that. If you're a truck person, man, it looks slick. They got an all-black one that just it hits. Something about an all-black pickup truck hits really smoothly, right? In my opinion. So make sure to go check out not just Toyota of Warren, but the Toyota Tacoma, the best-selling midsize truck for the last 20 years. Go find out why at Toyota of Warren. We thank them for their sponsorship. Tip the hat to Toyota of Warren. That will bring us to the section of the show that is a fan favorite for sure. It is the Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark? The What's Your Spark segment of the show brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric, which will take care of everything you need electrical, whether it be as simple as screwing in a light bulb or as complex as as a corporate electrical install. Joe Dickey Electric has you covered. Check them out. They've been a great sponsor of YSN for a long time, and they bring you the What's Your Spark every day on YSN Live. My spark today would be really easy to say MLB opening day. Obviously, I'm excited about that. Every baseball fan is. But I'm going to actually have to reserve a What's My Spark today for a really cool moment yesterday. It kind of gave me a boost for the rest of the week. Not that I was down in the dumps or anything. I needed like a big boost. But even if you're here and you get boosted to here, it's a good time, right? So my good friends in the softball community, Brittany McKinney and Alex Powers, they are ESPN analysis. So they broadcast on ESPN mostly for the ACC network, but they also have their own podcast called Up the Coast where they talk ACC softball, and they have coaches on throughout the season. And yesterday they dropped their newest episode, I believe episode 8, I want to say, of the Up the Coast podcast, season 2, where they interviewed Georgia Tech head coach Eileen Morales. And in that interview, I got a shout out. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing my name on the Up the Coast podcast. It was just a really cool moment. It wasn't needed at all. I don't deserve, shout outs or praise or anything like that, but it was really cool to hear my name come out of the mouths of not just Georgia Tech head coach Eileen Morales. Love you, coach. But also, some people that you hear on ESPN every single weekend calling softball. So thank you to Brittany McKinney and Alex Powers. If you haven't checked out their podcast, if you're a softball fan and like the ACC, make sure to check that out. Up the Coast with Britt and Alex on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. You can check them out. Thank you again for the shout out, guys. I love you guys. Keep fighting the good fight. That is my spark for the day. That is your show for the day. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, especially for getting through the technical difficulties that we had at the top. I again apologize for that. Really got through it, though. We got through it. We got a show. We got 2 great interviews. I want to thank Cam Carson for his time from Lakeview Baseball. I want to thank Bryce Franken for his time at Columbiana Baseball. Come back tomorrow. We have a live guest. AJ Sandy from Mineral Ridge Baseball will be joining us live at 12:15 as he gets ready to sign to Teal to continue his collegiate baseball career. He'll sign at 2 o'clock, but before he signs, he's going to hop on the show with us at 12:15. So don't miss that tomorrow on YSN Live, along with all the other stuff. We'll recap tonight's action. We'll play some more interviews. It'll be a fun day to finish off your week on a Friday. So come back tomorrow. No technical difficulties tomorrow. Fingers and toes both crossed. That'll be a fun day. So thank you so much for tuning in. YSN Live, brought to you by Greenwood and Toyota of Warren. Check them both out. And we are outie for the day.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.